Hi everybody, this is Tina and I wanted to do this video for you guys. This is about swap cards. I want to talk a little bit about it. I'm getting lots of emails, lots of questions about how to make a swap card, why do you want to be a part of the swap. So here you can see this is a basket of cards that I have, and a good chunk of these are swap cards. These are swap cards from the last meeting I went to with Patty Bennett, her Loves to Stamp meeting. I did a swap and we did about 30 cards, and then I got 30 different cards back. So you can see these are all different cards. So a swap card is just going to be the front of a card. It's not a full card where it's just ready to go. So how you get that is you take one sheet of cardstock and you cut it into four. So you cut it at 4.5, which is in half, and then you cut that in half again, and that's going to be at 5.5. So a standard A2 size card is 4.25 by 5.5 is going to give you a standard A2 size card. So once you have those, then you're going to decorate the front of it up, and it's great to have these. Like this card right here was done by Patty Bennett, and I didn't ever purchase any of these brads. Wasn't my style. I didn't really like it. I never purchased it. And then I did not have this stamp set. So this card was a great card for me to have because it showcased two items that I did not have in my stash. So if I was going to a workshop, or I was teaching a class, or I was, having people over to stamp with me, it would be great to have this on a display board. I have a frame that has chicken wire on it that I hang cards on, and it's great because then your customers, your friends, people that you're showing stuff to can see items that maybe you don't have. So I didn't feel pressured to get this stamp set that maybe I didn't really care for, or these brads that I didn't really care for, because I could show how they could be used on a card. Okay, so same thing with like this one. I didn't have, this was done by Julia, and I didn't have this stamp set, and so it was a great way to feature that. So that's one of the reasons you would want to participate in a card swap. And then the great thing is that then you have all these card bases. So you are able to, if I needed a Thinking of You card, I could pull this card out. I could cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock in half, and then I could just attach this card base, card front, to the cardstock, and I would have a card ready to go. Okay, so here are some cards that I have done in the past. This was one of my card swaps. And then this was one of my card swaps. You can see that I ended up having extras. Most of the time with bigger card swaps that you do, you're going to end up having some extras, and that's okay. So what you're going to want to do is make your card front, and then on the back, you're going to want to put your name. I put my demonstrator ID on this for our July 13th meeting. That's not necessary. But when I go to Patty Bennett's meetings, I always put my demonstrator ID on the back. I have my email address, and then I have what is called a recipe. And this is just the items that you used on this card. So I just list them. Stamps. The only stamp I used was Oh Hello. On this card swap, I used 2 different stamp sets, so I would list both stamp sets that I used. The ink I used was Pool Party, So Saffron, Indigo Island. The paper I used was Tea for Two, Pool Party, Island Indigo DSP. And then I listed the accessories I used: oval framelets, itty bitty butterfly punch, delicate tape, celebration ribbon, curly label punch, wood grain embossing folder, and then I put the name of my website and my website address. And that is what you're going to want to include on the back of your card for a swap card. As of right now, I've been telling you guys in emails and my postings, I've been telling you that you don't actually need a number of exactly how many cards you need. What you can do is just start out by making 10 cards. That should probably cover you for our swap coming up on July 13th. But if not, the week before, when you get a final count, you won't have that many more to add to your collection. So I would say start with 10, make 10 of the same card, you know, or 12 of the same card, and then you'll be covered. I think that about covers it. When you're doing swap cards, you just want to make sure that all of the work that you do on your swap cards is your very best work. So make sure all your cuts are nice and clean and crisp. Make sure all of your stamped images are clean, crisp images. Make sure your ink pads, if you're doing a lot of swap cards, you'll need to make sure you re-ink your stamp pads, just that kind of thing. When you're swapping cards with people, you want to get back a card that is just as good as the card that you sent them. So, you know, just don't do sloppy work. And then your swap cards should just be duplicatable. You just want to, you know, you don't want to spend an hour on each individual card. So just make it a duplicatable card that you could do, you know, in a 10-minute time period. Okay? So those, I think, are pretty much the guidelines for swap cards. I hope that I've answered your guys' questions. I've been getting a lot of emails and questions about it. So I hope that this has helped for me to just do a quick video and show you some swap cards and what takes place with them. If you have any other questions or I didn't cover something, please feel free to just go ahead and send me an email and I will get those questions answered for you guys. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our meeting in July and I hope everybody participates in the card swap.